also hosted a White House summit last month on mental health, a really critical issue confronting many cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of antisemitism and anti-religious bigotry. Half of your life. My administration stands ready to work with each one of you to make our 20 years and then they get rejected. How would you like to work on that? You work half of your adult life, half of your working life on one road or highway. At the end of they raise it and you lose 3-2. And that's the end of the project. So for 20 years you wasted half of your life. My administration stands ready to work with each one of you to make our city safer and stronger and more vibrant than ever before. As part of this commitment last year, my administration launched an initiative to cut federal, state, and local regulations to reduce the cost of housing. We also hosted a White House summit last month on mental health, a really critical issue confronting many cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of antisemitism and anti-religious bigotry. Critical issue confronting many cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of antisemitism and anti-religious bigotry. Attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together, cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of antisemitism and anti-religious bigotry.
Call Halam Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Wa Chabad Wa Hadar Wa Abba Wa Allah Hayanawa Wa Abba Nawa Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for giving me the Rakha Akodas to be able to come back and do another lesson on hopefully something that could be edification, ammunition, exhortation, reproof, preaching or defending the gospel. This is outright prophecy. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom wa Barakium Ha'aman Bakiyar. Shalom, which is to say, peace and abundance, completeness, soundness, all of the above for Shalom. Wa being the word and, Barakium being blessings or bless you all, Ha being the, Aman being faithful, and Bakiyar being elect. All right, this is your brother Shariah coming back. I just want to get into something real quick. And first and foremost, too, I want to say that this lesson is only out to you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos and Native Indians, so-called Native American Indians, so-called Seminole Indians, or so-called Hispanics. Because I know you go back and forth between the two, but they're all bywords. And that's only to be declared for you to consider yourself to be one of those so-called ethnicities by, if that's what your father is, by what your father is. Because according to the Bible, Numbers 1:18 and other throughout the many other scriptures of the Bible, you are what your father are. Okay, so if that's what your father is, if this was your father is, this was his lineage is so-called, this is in fact what you would be. But those are not truly ethnicities; those are bywords of which are curses of the Israelites, and those people that are of those so-called ethnicities actually are the biblical Israelites, in truth and in fact. All right. So as you can see, basically I'm gonna title this lesson. This is prophecy. This is being defamed. Being reviled. This is was spoke about in the Apocrypha, Second Esdras, This is not what I'm going to title it, but I'm going to tell you the title in a second, which is, I think it's Insurrection Against Those That Fear the Lord. So basically, I'm going to title this video, Defamed, Monstrous Evils. Okay? And we're going to get into the monstrous evils real quick. Salakia. Okay. So as you can see in here, the main thing that this devil said, he spoke about the so-called attacks on the synagogues and churches and the communities or whatever, being antisemitism, which is not even a real deal. It's not even a real word. The word they're referring to is actually Shemitic, but they don't say Shem because they're not the people of Shem they're claiming to be. And so the whole anti-Semitic thing, is surrounding so-called Jewish people who are in fact just Edomites, the chief house of the Edomites, which are the Amalekites. They're that's Amalek. All right, so they're basically fulfilling the prophecy that has to come to pass, us being persecuted for the word of the Lord. And Donald Trump, obviously, he's commissioned, and himself, he might be a fake Jew. We know he's just a regular old Edomite, but he might be partaking in being a so-called Jew himself. But yeah, that's what he spoke to. This is one of his recent press conferences, I guess, at the White House or whatever, which our people built, by the way, and received nothing for it. But nonetheless, he mentioned that, those attacks, which are of monstrous evils, on being anti-Semitism. So this is simply what those monstrous evils he's referring to. So-called blacks, so-called Negroes, or whichever one you want to pick, so-called Hispanics, Latinos, whatever, so-called Native American Indians, Seminole Indians, simply reading the Bible is likened unto a monstrous evil. They're basically trying to defame us by saying that we're some black black identity extremist group. They want to label us as a hate group and all that, and we're not a group. We're just literally waking back up into our actual race, and they want to keep us asleep and confused by shaming what we do, and because they understand by us being asleep that keep them in power. So us simply coming together doing this, reading the Bible, is a monstrous evil, because these are attacks are staged. You got a lot of Jake Bugouts out here, but for the most part, our people don't do anything but come out, amongst the many bodies, which is we supposed to be one body, but I'll say amongst the many sects of the nation of Israel, and we know we all don't have the same doctrine. The only true doctrine is, I know myself and GMS teach, we teach the same thing and believe the same thing, and the only true elders of Yahshua Allah, the apostles and elders, a great millstone, okay? And it's plenty other brothers, that's not necessarily with a camp that teach, that believe the same thing we believe and teach the same thing we believe, and who are scattered. But nonetheless, almost 99% of all of our people, because we're just a nation at the end of the day. We just simply read the Bible. That's it. So this is what they simply see in their mind. This is what us so-called black man, so-called Negro man, so-called Latino man, so-called Native Indian, Native American Indian, so-called Seminole Indian, this is a monstrous evil. You know, you simply trying to figure out, your black ass trying to figure out so-called, you know, what these scriptures mean is anti-Semitic, you know, but it's a monstrous evil to them. You know, Latinos, you know, getting together, finding out the book, simply reading the Bible and finding out this book is talking about us. So-called black man picking up a book, which is the words of the Creator of heaven and earth, which is his message and his instruction manual to the so-called black man, so-called Native American Indian, so-called into the so-called Seminole Indian and so-called Latino. You reading this book and holding it like your authority, you don't care who you are, child, man, woman, it's a monstrous evil. This is the monstrous evil he's talking about. You know? So-called Latinos or Hispanics, whichever one you pick, Negroes, trying to figure out who they are, realizing, opening this book and realizing that it's talking about us. Trying to figure out, okay, this is going to happen. Seeing that he can't shave his beard anymore. He can't do these certain things. Being comforted by these scriptures. You know, really getting into these things. Going into the prophecies. You know, it's Isaiah right there. The 59th chapter. When you go into the 60th chapter, the 60th chapter is literally all about how the other nations are going into slavery. So you doing this is simply, this is evil. They're trying to label this and deem this as being evil, man. You know? It's crazy. But it's prophecy. All right? You know, so it's a scary movie, you know. And they want to, you know, deem everybody. I'm going to play it one more time. That's waking up of our nation of people to simply be a monstrous evil. Let's play it again.
On mental health, a really critical issue confronting many cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of anti-Semitism and anti-religious.
So we must work together to reject the monstrous evils of anti-Semitism. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of anti-Semitism. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of anti-Semitism. Which is, they're simply, no, they're just talking about us just opening the Bible, believing it, reading it. And that's it. These particular people. So they'll go as far as faking an attack of someone, by someone of our nation, right? Of these people to so-called validate in other people's minds, right, that we are a monstrous evil. These attacks are coming from members of the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, and we're just the Hebrew Israelites. So this is nothing but the workings of the chief house of Esau, who God hates. Let's go ahead and get to these scriptures, man. So, and they're doing that to actually, let me see where on the start. They're doing that to actually be able to, as he said, we must work together. They need other people to get on board so this prophecy can come to pass, right? I'm going to go ahead and get that first. Use the 16th chapter. It might be 14. Okay. Here we go. It says, I'm going to start at 68. 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude. So this is a wrath they have. It's burning. It's a fire. They hate you. That envy, that jealousy, that rage, that hate, that twin rivalry going all the way back to Jacob and Esau, because this is literally Jacob and Esau finally playing out, having it out on the final stage, because the Edomites, they're Esau. They're the nation. Their progenitor is Esau, and the Israelites, their progenitor is Jacob. Jacob had his name changed to Israel, and all his descendants were Israelites. So, this is talking about you, so-called Native American Indians, so-called Seminole Indians, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos or Hispanics, right? Scattered across the four corners of the earth. Behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude, bunch of Edomites. They're even going to trick some of our own people to be a part of this great multitude. It's kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you. That's a prophecy. They shall take away certain of you. What is the takeaway? That could be death. That could be putting you in a concentration camp. We don't know. Certain of you. But we do know all those things will happen. And feed you being idle. So there you go. That's a concentration camp. With things offered unto idols. Torture, right? Watch the conspiracy theorists with Mel Gibson. 69. And they consent unto them. That's a good depiction of verse 68. The movie Conspiracy Theorists with Mel Gibson. Verse 69, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach. So it don't matter what you do. It don't matter if you sell out or not in that moment. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach. They're not gonna, they hate you. They don't want to deal with you and trodden underfoot. Verse 70, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities. So that's every place. Aren't we scattered all across the four corners of the earth? And in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that's only our people. I got articles I can go into about how, they say black people, out of all the Americans, we're the most into the scriptures. Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none. We shall work. Let's go get it again. Great wrath, the great burning wrath of a multitude, right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none, right?
Listen. Of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject.
And who's the face of that? Those attacks. They said they're in the face of the attacks on the synagogues and mosques and churches and whatnot. They're staging all these attacks, but the main people that they have a problem that they're pushing, that they're saying is getting attacked the most, are the so-called Jewish people. And who are they saying attacking them? Literally, so-called black Hebrew Israelites. We're just the Hebrew Israelites. But everyone that's of our nation waking up and claiming and going out teaching that we're the Hebrew Israelites. They see us. They see our lessons. They see us on the streets. You see people, if you hit the highways and byways, people ride past all the time taking pictures of you. They stop and they breaking their necks when they gotta drive across your where you post at, to teach, your placement on the street where you may teach at. You catch their eye, so.
Cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues
and cities and the states, it all lines completely up. That's what the scriptures say. It shall be in every place, in the next cities, an insurrection upon all those that fear the Lord. Paraphrasing. Listen.
States. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, state and local regulations to reduce the cost of housing. We also hosted a White House summit last month on mental health, a really critical issue confronting many cities and states. Finally, in the face of attacks on synagogues, mosques, and churches in our community, something that is just so horrible. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of antisemitism and
So there you go. We must work together to reject the monstrous evils of anti-Semitism He's putting that message out there, right? He's putting that out there. The Lord had him say that. That's prophecy that must come to pass. And you go back, it says, verse 68. 2 Ezra 16:68. For the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. They piss, they hate you waking up, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. I already explained that. Verse 69. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. Don't matter what you do if you sell out, and in reproach, and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place. What he say? In every place, in every city, he said. He's there addressing mental health, right? It says, and there shall be in every place, and in the next cities a great insurrection. That will be likened unto an insurrection. They're addressing so-called mental health in every place, in every city. A great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. We must work together to reject. What did he mean by reject? We must work together. People working together will be likened unto what? A multitude. And it's going to be a great multitude. Because this is the so-called president of the United States putting this message out there. This is Babylon, who has the cup right now, who has the wine everybody drinking. You know, when Ciroc came out, everybody wanted to drink Ciroc. That's how America is. It says, verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They're going to round you up, man. It's written, then shall they be known who are my chosen. We're going to know then, okay, when all that come to pass, we truly are the Israelites. But what that's really talking about is who survive and make it out. You know, who are the chosen of the chosen, because there's an elect of the elect, right? The Most High chose Israel, but he don't want everybody this time around. Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, right? You endure all that, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire, you know. But we're going to make it out of it, you know. Here, O ye beloved, if you're reading, which we do, you know, hopefully you're doing, Lord willing. Verse 74, there shall be in every place, Salakia, where I want 74. It says, O ye, hear, O ye, my beloved. We're talking about Israel, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your God. You know? And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, which Esau don't want us doing, Amalek don't want us doing, say the Lord, Yahweh, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. All right? So that's basically what that goes into. Lord willing, I get just a couple more scriptures, you know, because I got some other lessons, you know. So this is what they talking about, man. Those that fear the Lord. It's going to be an insurrection. They're trying to make people put this in their head. This is a monstrous evil right here. You know? We don't have nothing already. But we found out we got everything. That's why the scriptures say, Revelation. Is that 3 and 9? Might be 2 and 9. I think it's 3 and 9 though. It says it's 2 and 9. It's a lot. Revelations 2 and 9. I know thy works and thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear first, so that's the point, man. We already don't have nothing, and here this devil, you know, we find out we got everything. Like he said, we are rich. We rich in the spirit. We got spiritual money. All that spiritual money is going to actually turn into everything you stacking in the spirit right now is going to translate back on earth, man. Why do you think the prayer goes, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay? So whatever you store in the heavens, like that's why the scriptures, the Most High said, you don't store your treasures on earth. You know, store stuff in heaven, because don't nobody steal up there. You know, Esau take down the videos, but that's work with the Lord. BK he gonna delete something out the Lord here. Lord gonna delete his ass, take his ass down. He gonna take him down. He gonna be deleted off the face of the earth. I tell you that in the book of Obadiah. You know, but we read these scriptures and find out, man, we got everything. We rich. It's already written. All this is supposed to happen. You know, it's a little bit deeper than what I'm saying, but, you know, if you already in on the know, you know, like, wow, this really going to happen? Yes. That's I can keep doing what you're doing. Next verse, it says, found out you are rich. You know, and they hate that. And it's blasphemy for them to say they are Jews. Because the so-called Negroes are the Jews, you know. Verse 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Moving on. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. That's the Lord trying us, man. And that links right up with what was just said in, you know, Second Ezra 16, when it says, they shall, I think it said, gather you. Let me finish this. That they may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which is this amount of time. This is like how we know that, because it's just like how we be like, yo, give me a minute. Do you literally mean a minute? You know what I'm saying? No. Oh, man. It was going at it for a minute. Does Jake literally be talking about a minute? No. It says, be thou faithful unto death. But it's times that are clear, time spans that are clear that is mentioned in the scriptures. But this is not a literal one right here. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. That's when your if you hold it down for the Lord, that's when your riches, if you had any, store it up. You know, you're gonna translate, man. Those things gonna translate like credits, college credits, so-called college credits. It says, where we at? Yeah, verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, right, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And you go right back. Verse 10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. That's those camps, man. Brothers not making this up, man. You ain't just hearing about FEMA camps for no reason. It's not a coincidence. Lord put it all right in your face, and he'll do it so simple to where it go over your head. It'll go right over your head. This is how we didn't know, even though you knew in the spirit, you're out of the same people. So-called, you know, Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called blacks. You know, we all the same people. We all claim heritage of so-called African people, but we were never African. We were the Israelites. We're Shemitic people. We're around the region of Africa. You know, some like to argue Israel's, you know, is Northeast Africa. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we're not Africans. Those people come from the brother Ham. We don't come from Ham. We come from Shem. Right? Everybody on the face of the earth know who the Israelites are, man. So that's why it's a monstrous evil they want to put on you. You know? So here we go. Let's get this. This probably be the last scripture. So it's coming, man. That's how they gonna start the insurrection. You know, that's how they gonna start that insurrection. Let me get this real quick. They're defaming us. They're demonizing us right now. Trump he set up, the elites tell him, yo, press the button. That's why you're seeing more and more Black Hebrew Jewish community attack. Some Jewish guy got stabbed. It always point back to an Israelite. You're gonna start noticing that more and more if you haven't before you know, if you're watching this lesson. Give me a second. Satan, you know, like playing. Esau like playing. You know, who Satan works completely, who Satan is incarnated in the incarnation. we go. 1 Corinthians 4 and 13. And it says, so we see the smoke coming out. Someone started at 10, but they don't change nothing. It says, we are fools for Hamashiach's sake, but ye are wise in Hamashiach. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised. You know? What we doing is an honorable thing. We waking up. We ain't being niggas no more. You don't see us on the corner, selling drugs to our own people, acting like monkeys. You don't see that. I'm gonna pull this back up on the Salakia. I'm gonna pull this back up. And I'm gonna read this out of my sword. Verse chapter 4, starting at verse 10 from the top. It say, 1 Corinthians 4 and 10, we are fools for Hamashiach's sake. That's what you read and you find out you learn. And I got to be a fool, basically. Why? Because it says, but ye are wise in Hamashiach, right? Because you will be wise. Remember he said he made the what? The world is upside down, it's backwards. So everything that's esteemed wise right now is actually foolish. And everything that's actually wise is actually counted as foolish, due to the standards on earth, due to this being the so-called white man's world right now, So that's why I say we are fools, because in this world we're fools. Esau telling you to stop it. Yo, we're rejecting you. We're going to reject you. But you able to understand through the Rakha Akodash that shit don't matter. Because it say we are fools, verse 10, we are fools for Hamashiach's sake, but ye are wise in Hamashiach. We are weak, right? We are weak, but ye are strong. So we ain't, on this side we weak. We ain't got nothing, but we actually strong. Compared to Esau, we weak, but as far as our goods and substance, well, I wouldn't even say substance. I would just say our our things. You know what I'm saying? Like he has his military and all of that. But we got a military. We got we have a hedge. We have those angels. That's why they can't do nothing. That's why nukes ain't being shot. Because the power that only works through us, which is the power that works through him. The power that works through the so-called white man, being Satan, he works for our power, which is the power over everything, which is Yahweh. Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai. So that's why I say, but it say we are weak, but ye are strong. And they tried to come get the Lord, Yahweh Shai. The disciples jumped out with knives, and they like, yo, suffer it. Cut one of the guys' ear off, and he like, yo, I can have he said he can have like basically so many, angels come down and just wreck shop. Literally. That's what we got. You seen that with, in the account of Elijah as well. There are well more with us than be with them. He told Elisha to look again. He looked again, and it was chariots on top of the packed. Lord opened his eyes to something celestial. He could see chariots, and the horse is powerful. The angels packed, surrounding them. So that's why you gotta wake up, man. Ye are honorable, but we are despised. What we doing is an honorable thing. We're correcting the earth. We're correcting ourselves first, and we're correcting the earth. Lord willing, that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what we all doing. It's honorable, but it's despised, because it explained that in Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter. Esau's mind state and how he looks at us, how he done understood what it all is. That's why he lives how he lives. He see everything clear. So he's just going to be a complete devil because he understands what it is, It says, which I'm going to do a lesson on by the Spirit, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh, willing. It says, even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked. You ain't got nothing, man. You ain't got nothing. It says, and are buffeted. And have no certain dwelling place. You know, we in certain jams, brother, in certain conditions, living conditions. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy right now. It's amazing. It's amazing right now. You know, because how it's all finna turn around. You know, and what it all actually meant. Verse 12, and labor, working with our own hands. You know, we work for the so-called white man hitting the plant. You at work probably most of the time. So-called work and help build his dreams and crap. Right, with our own hands. It's been like that since after Yahushua passed. Before when he died and was resurrected. Because he's not dead. It says, being reviled, we bless. So we're reviled right now. Being persecuted, we suffer it. Being defamed, we entreat. We are made the filth of the earth, Salaki, of the world, and are the oil, Salaki, and are the offscouring of all things unto this day. You know? So there you go, man. So we ain't got nothing to worry about, man. He said we are rich, and this is prophecy. So you just got to stay locked in, you know, to your source, man. Wake up, come all the way into this thing, you know. So with that, hope this been edifying. I don't know if I should end it like this or end it with this devil saying what he got to say. I'm going to end it like this, man. So with that, I'm going to just say, call halam, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shah, Wa Chabad, Wa Hadar, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well of Yasha Allah, and to the rest of the elders who rule well out there as well of Yasha Allah. And Shalom Wa Barakim Ha'aman Bakiyar. And with that, with that, I'm going to say, Shalom, Shalom, man.